Moses Kuria was speaking today in Makueni. And Moses Kuria is amongst the 12 cabinet secretaries that did not seek a comeback in cabinet after William Ruto dissolved his cabinet. And I know I've listened to Aisha Jumwa in Mombasa saying he's still in government. Ye mimi sitoke soko, and President Ruto has promised her that probably she's going to work around Joho on something around it. But I want you to listen to what Kuria is saying here. It is a very trivial statement, but in direct confession that Kenya Kwanza failed in the last 2 years.
Tumeambiwa hapa tukue na something called candid conversation. Hiyo jenzi wameniambia. Na mimi nakubali kwamba tukue na candid conversation. Unajua jana tuliona hata watu wameingia kwa serikali. Na ni muhimu. Nasikia watu wakiambia Baruka uingie serikali. Kuja nitakupatia amani vile utaanza na vile utakamilisha. Lakini niseme kitu kimoja. Unajua sisi kama serikali kuna mambo mengi sana ambao tumeweza. Na kuna mengine ambao hatukuweza. Kwa mfano hapa katika kaunti ya Makueni tuko na maneno ya madini. Na hao gavana amekuja kwangu amenisumbua mara mingi, akaniambia ile sharing ya revenue ya madini kuna kopa hapa katika Makueni. Makueni itapata share yake ya kopa lini? Mimi sikuwa na jawabu. Hiyo kazi ilitushinda. Sasa wewe gavana utafute Joho atakupatia. Pia tulikuwa na shida. Mambo mingi sana tumeweza. Lakini mnajua kuna ile fund inaitwa Hustler Fund. Watu milioni 12 wamekopa pesa ya Hustler Fund. Wametoroka nayo. Tukajaribu kuwafuata imetushinda. Tukaambia Oparanya unaonekana hiyo kazi unaweza kuja utafuta hiyo pesa. Watu milioni 12 ambao huko kwetu mheshimiwa Kete naweza kuambia kahawa iko na shida. Sababu cooperatives zimekataa na pesa ya wakulima. Sisi kama Kenya Kwanza tukajaribu kupata hiyo pesa ikatushinda. Tukaambia Oparanya kuja utusaidie hiyo kazi ya kutafuta hiyo pesa ya kahawa. Unajua hii kazi ni kusaidiana ama si kweli? Tukatoka hapo. Tukaangalia mkatufanyia makelele. Mambo ya bei ya mafuta. Si ndio? Mpaka mkanibidi mimi kuambia mchimbe kisima yenu. Sasa mkaniambia kisima hamwezi kuchimba. Tuliposhindwa na hiyo kazi, tukaenda mpaka huko pahali inaitwa Uguja. Tukafuta mtu anaitwa James Opio Wandai. Tuambie Opio Wandai tupatie formula ya kuteremsha bei ya nini? Ya mafuta, sababu hiyo kazi imetushinda. Sababu hii kazi hii Kenya ni yetu zote na kazi imetusaidia kusaidiana. Sasa ile ambayo sasa ilikuwa ngumu zaidi. Madeni ndio hiyo. Tukajaribu kupata ushuru, mkatuambia tusipate ushuru. Tusiongeze ushuru. Tukauliza sasa hii maneno ya housing na maneno ya healthcare na maneno hii mambo yote tuko nayo, maneno ya elimu 650 billion ambayo tunatumia maneno ya elimu, tutatoa pesa wapi? Hiyo maneno ikakuwa kizungumkuti. Tukaingia mpaka pale Suba. Tukatafuta jamaa tulikuwa tunasema na yeye anaitwa John Badi Ng'ong'o. Tukamwambia kuja tupatie hiyo formula ndio wa Kenya ushuru kizidi wewe ndio utauliza.
The government collapsed. And this is a statement by Kuria that will be very interesting, I want you to get, because it's the bearing of this analysis. Now, what Kuria is answering there, what he's saying there is this, that they never failed as individuals, that probably there are things that were supposed to be done, but people felt like that minister is not the person that is doing it. In what he's saying is the failures of things that did not go well cannot be pegged on individual, but it is a colossal system failure. That is what Kuria is talking about. And I think amongst the 12, the ones who are out are Kuria, Aisha Jumwa, Penina Malonza, So you don't know, like Kambani had two. There was Penina Maloza and Alfred Mutua. So Alfred Mutua is also out. There is also Ababu Namwamba. Ababu Namwamba, I'm told, is going to be picked as ambassador, if I'm not wrong. Our county, man from our county, that is the Gor Mahia patron chairman. Who is this? I've forgotten the name. The one from CIA, the ICTCS, Njungura Ndungu. There are some that have been kicked out. And Zakari Njeri from Nakuru. Owalo, yes, I was forgetting Owalo. And there are quite a number. In Nakumisha. So, the understanding here is, and what Kuria is telling the country, that indeed it is true that the first 2 years of Kenya Kwanza, they failed. So that is why a question that I do ask, it will be a bit absurd for me to feel bad for, of course to feel bad, that uncomfortable that there is that sort of that regional balance, because that is also one thing that we complained on Ruto administration. If it is on the ground of regional balance, it is better, but it will still be done without a Gen Z protest. If the President Ruto was genuine, I've listened to his statement in rallies. I will analyze that tomorrow. His statement in rallies is, I'm constituting a broad-based government so that all of us can pay taxes and can do this and we can achieve. I just don't know how all of a sudden he realized after the Gen Z protest that you now need a broad-based government for things to move. So on that I'm not on it. But the overnight success, the silver bullet by the 4 cabinet secretaries is what I don't understand. And the baggage, or rather the biggest challenge here, is that these 4 cabinet secretaries have been touted as the savior and the messiah. I even understand Raila Odinga saying that we want to work with Ruto for the sake of the country, not for William Ruto. But listen to Kimani Kujiri from Nakuru. And this is telling you, and this is why I'm telling you, that there's a daunting challenge for the 4 ODM nominees that are joining the Ruto administration. When you listen to this soundbite by Kimani Ngunjiri, it will give you a different perspective on what really is the tone of Mount Kenya.
Well, asante sana. Nimesema leo nizungumza mambo ya status of the nation kwa sababu sijaongea kwa muda. Nimekuwa na pressure ya watu wengi kuniuliza ninaonaje. Kwa hivyo yale ninazungumza ni maoni yangu kama Ngunjiri, ni maoni yangu. Na mimi nikiwa kiongozi lazima niwe na maoni ya vile mimi naona. Ya kwanza ningetaka kushukuru rais kwa sababu ya kuweka watu ya ODM kwa serikali. Ile changes zile alikuwa anataka na anatutangazia kila pahali. Wakipata watafanya changes. Umepata the most strong ministries. Finance, MBADI. Sasa tunataka MBADI atuambie ile dream walikuwa naye na ile vita walikuwa naye ya kubadilisha hii nchi. The time have come. They have been given. Now, you know, you are going to carry, not what we are talking in the parliament now, you are going to carry all the burden ya mambo ya finance. Utatuambia pesa ambaye tuko nazo tunahitaji kufinance kila kitu yote. Kufinance counties, kulipa madeni, kulipa mishahara, kulipa counties. Sasa it's just on your hand. So the dream we had, mkuwa na Raila, sasa is now. Na kama sio sasa, ni sasa hivi. Because you are there. Na ningeomba bunge, muwapitishe haraka sana. Tuone kama watakuwa, hiyo dream walituambia, how is it going to work? Kila siku tunalia mambo ya stima, mmepewa hiyo ministry ya stima. Unasema stima, haigawi kwa haki, haiendi mzuri. Now, bei iko juu sana ya stima. It is true. Hata kuconnect stima, hii tunasema, tunaweka rulo stima. Hatufanyi mzuri kwa sababu deni inakuwa kubwa sana. Sasa endai, wewe iko huko ndani. Ile kelele ilikuwa anapiga bunge, now shut your mouth and use the brain now, because sisi wote tungetaka nchi mzuri, sisi wote tungepata nchi ikuwe mzuri, na ndio tunasema the president amechoka kwa kelele, na kwa sababu amechoka amewapea do that. Lakini kuna jambo nataka kusema, Leila, wewe mambo yako kubali, imefika mwisho, because even we are not remembering ile kitu nasema. And don't lie Kenyans. Kenyans young people, Gen Zs, they know what they are doing. You took advantage ya demonstration ya Gen Zs. You took advantage. Mukaleta watu politically wabomoe vitu ambaye mpango yake ilikuwa ni kubomoa vitu na mali kupora ya jamii fulani. You know that. Na hiyo ndio imefanya ubagain mpaka upewe nini? Mpaka upewe positions. We know you now. Don't cheat people. Later you are old na wewe ni mzee na tunakuheshimu. Lakini what the problem of this country? Tumekuja kujua shida ya nchi yetu ya Kenya ni wewe. Why? You are not straight. Mulianza handshake na Kibaki na Moi. It did not work. Mukakuja handshake na Kibaki. It did not work. Mukakuja handshake na Uhuru. It did not work. Sasa mmekuja na Ruto. I want to tell our president, it will not work, because Leila amechukua ile kitu inamhusu. He is a commercial person. And I want to tell you, hakuna wakati Leila wananchi wa Kenya mjue mzuri anataka kuwa president. No. Hataka kuwa president. He is just a broker na kupiganisha watu. Why am I saying that? Leila, how can you cheat daylight namna hii? Negotiation ile mlikuwa naye na Ruto. Unarudi kuja kusema your stronghold MPs na members of your party, of your parliament, wendai nani wote, unasema wewe you are not part of that wao kuingia kwa serikali. You are lying. Daytime. Kwani wewe ujioni? Unadanganyana na Gen Z wanakuona. You have taken opportunity of Gen Z. Unasema ati hawa sio wewe, hiyo ni chama. Unacheza pia Ruto. Unamcheza double.
Kimani Ngunjiri there, I know we know him as one of politician come blogger. But he's a person that is closest to Rigathi Gachagua, and he has said numerous occasions that before Rigathi was even picked as the running mate, he was right at the center of that decision. It's also true that quite a number of people are not comfortable with the cabinet slots. So let's take this. Moses Kuria is saying, so-and-so felt probably there was this problem that we did not do, and now we picked Joho. There was the problem we didn't do, we picked MBADI, we picked so-and-so. Hustler fund. You know, people did not repay Hustler fund. You know? There is something that Kuria is saying, that probably it is just our policies that didn't work. Like Hustler fund was a flop. Is Oparanya going to convince the country to repay the Hustler fund? The same Hustler fund was riddled by some huge corruption scandal that is there. So even with this, the daunting challenge for the new cabinet nominees, both the ODM and the others that are, I don't know if they've been picked from technocrats or so, and the Gen Z one, I'm also seeing, I also saw someone that is alleged to represent Gen Z. The task is very challenging. And when you listen to the evicted cabinet members, you will understand that the MBADIs and Wandai and Oparanya and Joho have a bumpy road ahead. And I want to tell you, the only survival is that they're also for political optics. You see, the way President Ruto has been received in Mombasa, and the other day in Kwale, you know, they have been mobilizing for Ruto's reception just to redeem the image. Of course, after the Gen Z punctured his image. The first thing that these cabinet nominees are going to face, and I can tell you, high-profile tender wars at the ministry are pitting them with the Ruto loyalists. And this one is going to affect two people, MBADI and Wandai. Let me explain this. You see, these other leaders, for example, Oscar Sudi was alleged to have gotten a tender in Nairobi. So there are those leaders who did not get ministerial positions. But one of the problems that affected Kenya Kwanza is that there were tenders to be given. Of course, some people are not in offices, but even if you're not, you did not get a UDA, if you're not appointed as an ambassador, you stand with UDA, but you're not appointed as ambassador somewhere, or you did not get a position as a CS or a CS, but you're given a tender. You see some of them reach outside and you ask, which kind of businesses are they doing? They're not doing any tangible business. They have just been surviving with tenders. And so, the Ruto loyalists see the new entrants as detractors. There are people that have come to take their space. And those two ministries are the most lucrative in terms of tenders. Look at pending bills. There was a pending bills committee that was constituted by, and they were one to audit, they audit the debts, all under treasury. This tender wars is telling you that the people that are outside, if you listen to their tone, they want to see the change. And in fact, if Ruto will not ring fence the new cabinet from the UDA oligarchs, then the next 2 years of UDA, of that Kenya Kwanza administration, are going to be worse than the previous 2 years. I know the first ones were probably party loyalists. People were there because of the party, because of this and that. But this new team is going to face, remember, there are those who also want to see the ministries where they were holding. They want to see how is MBADI going. I'm also waiting, by the way, just like the rest of the country, the silver bullet that MBADI is, and I'm not praying he fails, that MBADI is going to do in the treasury to turn around things. The country had been complaining about the cost of energy, the token, the cost of fuel, the G2G, the Saudi Arabia's G2G deal, and this and that. So the country is waiting for that turnaround. So that is the first ghost. And if you listen to that, you'll understand what Kuria is saying. There is a system problem here. This is not about individuals. So if an individual is going to be branded as the savior, the messiah of the situation, then that will be the first challenge they'll face. The second thing is the deep-rooted mistrust over Raila allegiance. My other host, my other analyst in the channel, Frank, I think he analyzed it in the other video, and we were just having peer talking. He was telling me that because he's now in cabinet, there is going to be high-profile intelligence dispatched on these cabinet secretaries, especially the ones from ODM. MBADI, the government will always want to know whom is he meeting, whom is he talking to, what does he say with Raila, how often does he speak with Raila. I'm telling you, they will start talking with Raila in the Luo and through WhatsApp, maybe. Why? Because there is a question on, these fellows will now have to resign from ODM. But these fellows also harbor some political ambitions within ODM party. So, when they walk to cabinet, they have some proposals, and those proposals are not working, then what will happen? Raila Odinga seems to be, because he was born and the blood in opposition, seems to be still having appetite to have both. On that, at night, have Ruto. During the day, dispatch letters in newsrooms saying the way he's not supporting Ruto administration. So there is a question of divided loyalty. Remember, there is also another narrative that Raila has here. There's also another narrative here that probably is gotten to government to rock it from within, to expose So the next day, if something happens and MBADI wants to speak, it is Raila Odinga that will be speaking. Wandai wants to speak, it is Raila Odinga that will be saying those things. Joho wants to say something, it is the other side. And probably it's going to be opposition within. But remember, allegiance in cabinet is to one man, President Ruto. That is the second problem they're going to face, the mistrust. So there's so much that is going to be discussed, but of course the mistrust is going to be there. Number 3, rigidity of Ruto policies against that the individual input. Let me say this. UDA party MPs convened in State House last year, a day before the State of the Nation address. And more than 100 UDA MPs had a common position telling President Ruto that the country is uncomfortable with this housing levy. And if you can drop it, this thing is unpopular. William Ruto confronted all those UDA MPs and told them, this is not the time to be popular, this is the time to deliver. And it didn't work. Housing levy received condemnation and criticism and opposition within civil servants, government ranks. But he still pushed through with it. Same to the G2G and some taxation policies that had been coming from the Treasury. So what the country wants to know, will MBADI be able to talk with President Ruto and tell President Ruto, this one we have to drop. This one we must go for. This one we must go for. And that is why some political observers are saying that the ODM team are going to rubber stamp the policies that Ruto had been talking about. Look at the education. Look at the education, the new funding model, the university new funding model. If it is going to be, whether it is not, it might not be in Treasury, it does not affect Treasury or the other. But because a cabinet, you'll have to support it because of one government approach. You cannot be in that cabinet and speak a different language. Now, with that rigidity, I doubt the individual input of a minister. MBADI might have the good ODM ideologies. Same to Joho. Same to Oparanya. I have some analysis about Oparanya. Same to Wandai. But the rigidity is the problem. Lastly, the massive layers of decision making within Ruto administration has been one of the problems. Within Treasury, you have economic advisors. Then you have a pool of there is an economic advisor in Treasury to advise Treasury. There is economic advisor to the president. Then there is also another economic advisory team led by David Lee. You look at all that team. The individual input of a CS, even with his own advisory team, it's a nightmare. And that is why it's a matter of wait and see. We are not spelling a doom for them, but we're just saying it because it is very important for the discourse on our governance. Thank you.